Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name is Ronnie Hayes. Today, let's talk The Walking Dead Q&A 62. If you want to participate in the Q&A and get your answers up here, please follow the directions in that description. If you don't follow those, chances are I will not see your questions. Let's jump right into this. Next name is, I always pronounce it wrong. Your name is supposed to be Apocalypse. I know you corrected me once saying Apu Calypsio. I don't know why I said Calypsio, because it's obviously, I put an I and some shit like that before, but I still stand by the first one. You have it down as if it's Apu, so I'm going to call you Apu. Apu Calypse. Wait, Apu Calypso. Because that's how it's spelled, so I'm running with that. But I think you meant to be, what, Apocalypso? There we go. If that's what you meant, then that's what I'll call you. Alright, you're saying now that Maggie is pregnant, will she die in season 6, 7, or what? You say it's unlikely they'll have 2 babies on the show. You know what? I don't agree with that, because babies and children and new life, it establishes a need to settle down and create a community in one area. I mean, if you had no kids and you wanted to settle down, you would do it because it would be comfortable, it would be easier to set up crops, and it's just easier. It's probably difficult to roam around with children. It's probably increasingly difficult, damn near impossible in a zombie apocalypse. So I think it would make more sense that they would fight for Alexandria, that they would build Alexandria up as a community with children in it. So I do not agree with your idea where we only need, one or a limited number of babies. I don't agree with that. But no, I do not believe that just because she's pregnant means she's likely to die. Now, will she die? Could she die? Yeah, I think it's still a possibility she could die even though she's pregnant. But at this point in time, I do not believe the pregnancy means she's going to die. But I still think Maggie right now, that's weird, because I don't know if they would get rid of the, Maggie, but now that they faked out Glenn, I'm also not sure they would kill him. I think it would be just easier to keep them both for another full season. Just relax it. Spin 2020. Rosita gave Eugene the "it's harder to live" speech. Is she a goner? I'm going to try to narrow these answers down, because sometimes I like to just go off and talk about different random stuff. Just because of that speech, no, I don't think that means she's a goner. Other things might mean she's a goner, but that speech, no. Jacob, will we ever see the helicopter from season 1 again? Listen, the helicopter, that's a headache conversation, because a lot of people, I think the majority of the people, believe that helicopter is the same one that crashes for the governor. Now, they could have confirmed that, but that's not what I believe. I don't believe that at all, because the helicopter is something that was taken, out of, in the governor's helicopter was taken out of the graphic novels, and it was also in the comic book. That's right. Now, it was slightly different, I believe, in the novels. I believe it was a news crew. It was a news crew, and in the show, it was something different. Fuck, I'm trying to remember if they had a helicopter in the first issue of The Walking Dead. I don't think they do. Anyway, I don't believe those helicopters are connected, because there was too much time that passed, and it wouldn't be odd to see 2 different helicopters. To me, that's just, I don't know. I think it's stranger if it would be the same helicopter. I'm fine with thinking but here, will we see it again? I don't see why we would. First off, we're in a completely different area. Atlanta's 600 miles away from Alexandria. We're not going to see that again, the prison again. I just don't see why we would be revisiting these things, especially that helicopter. You would never be able to explain that is the same helicopter. It just doesn't make any sense in story-wise. Viral velocity. Do you think we will ever see the no guts death scene on the show? You guys from the comic book or you fans of the comic know who he's talking about, and I do believe we will see it on the show. And right now it's still possible that it is the same person. However, that scene is written perfectly to end up in the show. It's just too perfect to leave out of the show. It's great. I mean, it's vicious, it's shocking, it's got some humor, some dark humor. It's great. If they leave it out, that's a complete fail. Rinaldi Calixte, I fucked that name up. Thoughts on the portrayal of the wolves compared to the scavengers? I love it. I love it. Listen, I'm disappointed we didn't have the big bad wolf. You know what I mean? I'm disappointed in Little Pig, Let Me In. Because we had the wolf set up, you know? And I thought that was such a strong influence to name them the wolves, because you were going to have that big bad wolf, you know, vibe. But they didn't do it. Maybe the wolf name is paying homage to the fact that they did say that in the book, but I think they fleshed out the wolves good. Now, I don't mind that the wolves are crazy, whatever, but what I'm talking about is the fact that I didn't see the W shit coming at all. It was it blindsided me, like, completely. When they went to Noah's community and the heads fell out, I think that was some of the most awesome original writing, where it was like a mystery. It was like, boom, whoa, what is that? Dismembered bodies, W's carved in the forehead. I really liked the way they did that. And then we saw the W walkers, every now and then. I just love that whole idea there. So I like it more than I don't like it, and the only reason I don't like it is probably because I miss that, or I'm disappointed a little we didn't have that altercation at the gates. I think that still could have been included in the wolves. I think they still could have done that. When Rick got back, there was definitely a way to squeeze that in there, but they chose not to, and they chose to fill out the scenes with some more character development. But honestly, they could have fit that scene in there and ate up 4 minutes of screen time, and that's it. And I shit you not, the wolves could have came. Rick could have been like, imagine Rick like a badass now. He could have been like, no way in hell are you getting in here. Fuck you, And then it's on. Baka baka baka. Gunshots done. You know what? I forgot about all the walkers around there. Forget about it. But I like the wolves the way they were brought to the screen, We're not missing much from the Scavengers. There wasn't much there in the comic. Corey J. Cat, your idea for the mid-season premiere. Wow. Just real quick, I'll let you know, because I'm going to be doing a video on this, but my perfect idea for a mid-season premiere would be to start off back. They're probably going to start it off with something completely different than the Herd. Part of me thinks they'll start it off with like Heath or somebody, that's in a room looking out to them on the porch coming down, or something like that, but not really with the Sam and them. My perfect idea would be to start on the porch and just pick it up and replay the end of episode 8 and have them grab hands and come down. I would have to actually sit down and think about how I would want that, because they cut it off, they cliffhangered it right in the middle of a scene. So how do you do? Do you fade back into him saying mommy? To fade out on that and to fade up on that would get right into the action, and it would be incredible to see. So maybe I would do that. Fade right into him saying mommy, mommy, and sync those two together. We'll go with that idea. G. Turner, do you think Father Gabriel will die in episode 9? Listen, he is back there, but no, I do believe he's going to fight, and fight like a son of a bitch. It doesn't move the story if he dies, but if he fights, that doesn't necessarily push the story forward, but it pushes the character's story forward, so I think that his death would be empty, in that scene. Wait, what's your name? Apollo Arts Sam R. Thoughts on Rick's mental state? I don't think Rick has a bad state of mind. I think people call him a psycho still, which is insane, but he proved in episode 1 of season 6 that he was alright, and he showed us. He cleared up all the bullshit. With everyone saying he was going full Shane and he was just a killer, he disproved all that in episode 1 when he explained to Morgan. First, he let Carter live. Second, he explained to Morgan the only reason he was going to kill him is because he didn't want him getting anyone else killed. He knew that the dude was dead already. You understand, he knew that guy was a problem. He was going to get somebody killed eventually, and he was just going to kill him right then and there. That's not insanity. That's a person who's been seeing, people who are causing problems, getting people killed over and over again, and it's a vicious cycle, and he's becoming conditioned to stopping that vicious cycle. That is not insanity. This is a zombie apocalypse. Of course, you're not going to have the same mentality you do now, than you would in a zombie apocalypse. So I think Rick's state of mind is right where it needs to be. Tyler Mathna. My favorite character, not in the comic. You know what? It would be a toss-up between Sasha and Daryl. Sasha would have to be a close second. Daryl, and that's mostly because of my bias towards Norman Reedus and being a huge fan of Boondock Saints. To be honest with you, Daryl, over the past couple seasons, he's had some really good scenes, but he's more dull than he is exciting. And to show that that's not always how his character was, I was a huge Daryl fan in season 1 and 2 because he was a smart ass, and he was just different, and I like that Daryl better. I think they could have still kept the smart ass Daryl as part of his character. I don't see why in the world they dropped that. I'll never understand. Yeah, he was through some heavy shit, but, look at where he came from. He went through some heavy shit, and he still was a smart ass. Some of Daryl's best scenes, they would almost all be from, friggin' season 1, when he's like, choke holds are illegal. Oh, man. His entire entrance right there would contain most of his best scenes. He had some really good scenes here. Like when he got into Alexandria and he talked about Carol's sweater, whatever. What did he say? It was ridiculous. I don't know. But, that type of smartass, we saw it there, but it was missing for so long that, I like Daryl. Some of it is bias for the Boondock Saints and liking the actor, but I just wish more of season 1 and 2 Daryl was still there, especially when it came to the smart ass comments. I think that's probably a side of Daryl I miss the most, and that is the only reason why him and Sasha are probably almost tied right now as far as being my favorite original character for the show. Daniel Brandy. Negan killing a pregnant Maggie. Will it work on the show as a big death cliffhanger? You know what? I don't think it would work on the show because it seems weak. I don't know. I kind of would look at Negan as like a pussy. If he just lined up a pregnant chick, and beat her to death. I think he's, I don't know. I think that wouldn't work well. It has a bad image, and it makes him look like a liar, especially later when he's like, I don't even hit my women, just, I don't know, it doesn't fit. Let's see, Ross Johnson, you were talking about Rosita and Rick relationship. I don't see it. I'll tell you right now, I don't see it. I don't think that would work. Spectre the Horseman. I write these down sloppy, though. Who will get Comic Abraham's death? Right now, I'm voting for Tara. I'm going to join the bandwagon on that, but not the same. I want it in the chest, and I want it to... And I explained this in a different video. You guys can go find that video. But I want it to be Tara, but I want it to be a little bit different. I'd tweak it a little. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Rick White. What happens when Carl's aging becomes too much? I still stand by it's already there. We have already gotten there. Listen, for everyone who marathons The Walking Dead, the aging is a problem. When you're watching it through a marathon and you're chilling and you pop in the new season and you're like, he aged quickly, and how much time has passed. We're already there, dude. Right now, I think some of the scenes in the comic book, and I stand by this, some of the scenes in the comic book that would look utterly ridiculous on TV will actually work now. This is one of the pros. In the comic, he was 9 years old or 10 years old at the most when he had an assault rifle that was the same size as him. In the comic, it was badass. On TV, it would come off shitty. I strongly believe that. But Carl now, did you see him coming out of the house with a machine gun? Listen, I think it would work now. He looks like a scrawny little shit who, no offense, but, when the gun bucks, it might be a little much for him, but I think it would work better now than it would. So, obviously, they're going to get into more aging, that might start to become a problem, but if they play their cards right with a time jump, and if he can still stay looking, maybe a baby face, I think they could work around that. I don't think it will be that big of a problem. Plus, if they utilize a big time jump between All Out War and The New Beginning, that might actually fit perfect. So I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, my opinion, the damage is already done. Sean Mortimer. Thoughts on Michael Chiklis as a savior? Listen, I love the dude from S.H.I.E.L.D. He played Vic Mackey on the S.H.I.E.L.D. Absolutely one of my most favorite TV shows. It's up there. And I think he would be fine as a savior. I'm cool with that because I like the actor. Casta Troy. Can walkers walk upstairs? I don't see why they can't. I mean, now it gets into debates where I don't think they would, move around in the house and go up the steps. I don't see that. But if I ran up the stairs, I think a walker would chase me. He might be slow and stumble a little, but he'll definitely get there. Especially if he goes to walk and he falls forward a little and he can just kind of crawl. I think a walker can do that because if it can walk, if it can fall down and get up, or if it can crawl, it can definitely make its way up the steps somehow. It'd be awkward, yeah, but I think it'll work. Maybe they can't. I don't know, but I think they should be able to. You want to know if they'll iron Dwight's face for leaving? I just don't know. I don't want to change the iron. I don't want to because it's like, he left. Think about this. He left. Oh, let's drag him back and iron his face? Yeah, it doesn't make sense because the person wants to leave. If they left, just let them leave. Who gives a shit? Now, if they have the cheating wife shit, you burn his face because the guy is staying around. That's the point of it. Negan wants everyone to see your face burnt. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be pointless to burn someone's face if they're trying to run away. You know what I mean? Because eventually they're going to get away and no one will see their face. No one will know that that's a punishment. Why punish somebody where people can see it if no one's going to see it? They're just going to run away. So no, I would say leave it the way it is in the comic. As far as the wives, leave it that way. That's my opinion. Ostensor Mortem 21. After the Deanna and Michonne scene, does it add weight to a future Rick and Michonne relationship? Hey, listen, if you are a Rick and Michonne relationship fan, a shipper, Rick and Michonne shipper, if you came out and said, you know what, after that Deanna and Michonne scene, where she says, find something you want and go get it, or whatever, her exact words were, if you said that you think that has to do with Rick and Michonne, I wouldn't argue with you. It fits, same way I said it fits with David. But at this time, I do not feel like they're going in that direction. Now, if Michonne started acting on that a little bit, and we see it, here and there, and it would have to be after Jesse died, or after Jesse and Rick, weren't getting together, it would have to be after something like that. And Rick, if Michonne shows that a little bit, or gives some kind of sign, I would start, okay, I see where they're going. But right now I don't see it because I see clearly that they are close friends. But again, I won't be blindsided if Michonne's like, listen, Rick, I want this to go further. I won't be like, oh my God, that's so shocking. Because it does look like there's some subtle hints. Again, I would prefer that they stay the best of friends because I don't see a intimate relationship adding anything more, Brooke Arnold. Now that Dwight took Daryl's crossbow... Oh, man, I ripped the page. Damn it. You know what? I tore off a piece of the paper here. But Brooke Arnold asked something about now that Dwight took Daryl's crossbow... I think you're asking if he's going to be dead because I ripped off a piece of paper here and it looks like you said there's not really, basically you're saying there's not really room for two crossbow people. Again, I strongly disagree. That's like saying, only one character can have a pistol. Only one character can have a friggin' machine gun at a time. Only one character can have a sword. I know in the comic book now, Jesus and Michonne both have swords. Now, obviously, they're different, I think Jesus has like a broadsword and Michonne has a katana. However, I think saying that we can only have one crossbow person is as ridiculous as saying we can only have one pistol and we can only have one sword. Now, I would prefer if they just gave Daryl a shotgun and laid the crossbow to rest and leave that as a bickering between Dwight and Daryl. You know, like let's say they capture Dwight like they did in the comics, and when they're going to let Dwight go, Daryl has Dwight's crossbow, which is, you know, Daryl's old crossbow, and Rick is like, listen, Daryl, we're letting him go. And he's like, well, fine, fuck him, tell him to get out of here. And he's like, well, you got to give him the crossbow back. And Daryl's like, no, Rick, this is mine. He stole it from me. And Rick is like, Daryl, come on. You know? I just think there's more room there creatively to keep two people fighting over the one crossbow. I think that's more entertaining than giving them both a crossbow. But if they did give them both a crossbow, again, I wouldn't be like, oh, how dare they, you know? J.C. Rican, 88. Will the show give Carol a future love interest? Yeah, Morgan. Duh. I mean, they already established that spark of a relationship. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? They could. They could. I mean, at this point, you know, it wouldn't hurt. I don't know if it would fit the story right now, but it's possible if Carol makes it to the new beginning, it's possible to do something like that. Right now in the story, it's also possible, but it would also be kind of a surprise. Like I said, if it was Morgan, I was joking before, but if it was Morgan, that would be a really big surprise. I don't know. I'm not really big on throwing love interests because some of it doesn't seem organic, you know? That's all we got. If you want to ask a question, put Q&A before your question and put it down in the comment box. Remember, only TV show questions for The Walking Dead. Detailed directions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.